Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, let's take a look at this year's garden finale and garden review. Stay till the end for some bonus seeding footage. Okay, let's get started with the update. Some of you have been with us a few times before, and here's our garden finale. We have the 4 o'clocks. There's some catnip on the end there. My daughter's cats went absolutely ballistic the other day with the fresh catnip. Boy, do they ever love me. Okay, these 4 o'clocks. I will show how they're grown from seed. It's quite interesting, and they really cost us virtually nothing. We have very little invested into this year's garden, and I'll explain that as we go. On the edge here on the chair, there's a lot of onions. We've been eating those up all year. The plant down below, that would flower if it in a bigger pot. Pretty happy with it turning out. It took a while, but it's coming along well. And then behind here, we have catnip, an abundance of catnip. More onions on the corner here. We've eaten a lot of tomatoes, and we've shown some of that footage of our harvests. Here's a plant I'm really proud of. We have poblanos, we have bell peppers that are turning red, and mixed in, jalapenos. It started a bunch of pepper seeds, and these ones all got put together, kind of at the end there. They were slow to come along at first, and then they really caught on. These are a purchase that we made. Otherwise, again, everything else we nurtured from seed, starting indoors, I believe in March. This is a type of lettuce. It was in its prime last week, but beautiful flowers. We let it flower. We were eating the broadleaf lettuce, and we let it flower. And kind of like a chef, it's hard to have everything time out all at once. So those were in their prime already, and there's going to be more. These were all grown from seed. They were last year's flowers. Deadheads. They snap right off. You can even hear it, and it even feels good and smells good. Okay, I'll show you more about that in a minute. There's some huge catnip that grew in there with those. Again, these were all free. I saved last year's deadheads and planted them from seed early this year. Here's our hummingbird magnet, and it worked. Pepper plants. And there's another example of our lettuce flowers. They were in full bloom last week, still looking good. More pepper plants. And we've picked a bunch. We've shown our harvests. Little mini tomatoes. This is what you can do with a balcony garden. It sure can be done, and we enjoy it. More jalapenos here. And I'm going to give you a quick view of what we do with these deadheads. We throw them in there. We wait till next year. We plant them in some soil, and you have free flowers. It's amazing what little we have invested in this garden this year. Pretty much everything from seed, as I said, but we did buy some new soil, and we had the containers, so didn't have to worry about those investments. Okay, here's a pepper plant. Am I ever proud of that? My daughter, she enjoyed having some of those on her pizza, and we put them on everything. My other half, Kristen, she makes the world's best, most famous jalapeno poppers, etc. I'm spoiled. She's an amazing chef, and she's my soulmate, so I'm very blessed. Okay, how did these get so big? Well, I take care of them. I start them early, as I'll show, and I sing them lullabies. So this will be our last gardening one of the year. Usually we're talking more about things like this. People ask, why do you have that there? And I tell them, because you wouldn't want to play this one. It's pretty damaged, but you also wouldn't want to throw it in the garbage. Okay. There's going to be a lot more where this came from. And the 4 o'clocks are starting to open up this morning a little bit. We have quad colors. You will love at the end when I show you the seedlings. So stay tuned. I wanted to show you too where the seeds are in these 4 o'clocks. You can see this right here, this black thing. It's a big seed. They have big seeds. This will pull right off of there. You can hear them fall sometimes. Sometimes it comes off with a few leaves, and you can see it there. So we have a jar of those that we will plant next year. And so there you have it. Those will make for next year's beautiful flowers. And it's good for the earth. It's good for the environment, and it's easy on the pocketbook. Okay, these are the 4 o'clock seedlings. That was in March. They get huge outside, as you've seen. We've had this little creature visiting. I call him Exigity-Knocked. Sometimes I think he's from a different planet. And we enjoy the hummingbird daily and creatures like this. Here is some of what the neighbors see. I get tons of compliments on. This was taken a few weeks ago. Here's when our 4 o'clocks first started coming in. We have quad colors. Originally, they came through like this. A little bit tie-dyed looking, and we were overjoyed. Here's a little shot of some spicy goodness, dripping wet after I just watered it. This is from a few months ago. And again, the jalapeno poppers were stellar and so colorful. And I was showing some of the native plants. And this is me. My daughter and her friends were calling me the plant king. I gotta say, I hold that in the highest of regards, and I really, really do appreciate that compliment. I've been a sports writer, a record store guy, managed a pet store. Gardening, I've probably gotten more compliments than all the others combined. So thanks for going on this journey with me today. And comment on what's your favorite thing to grow. And as always, be kind, rewind, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for joining us on this garden finale. And I hope it's a great day in the garden of your mind.